Hi guys, and welcome back to the Fermented World channel. Today we're going to be making a ginger mead. Now for this recipe, which I'm creating myself, I'm going to be using half a lemon and half an orange as well. So let's just slice the orange and the lemon. Oh, it smells lovely. And then I'm going to freeze these because I don't actually need them. So I'm just going to pop them in a bit of tin foil and just freeze them. Simple as that. No point throwing them away. I've got nothing else I can use them for at the moment, so that's that. And they'll be alright in there for a while anyway. Won't want to waste it now. Don't like waste, which is another reason why I'm making this ginger mead, because I ordered some fresh ginger ages and ages and ages ago for a mead that I was going to do, the original ginger mead, which I ended up using too much ginger, I believe. And what happened was I ordered it, set amount of how much I thought I was going to need, and the guy who picked the shopping, because I have mine delivered because I don't have a car, you see, so anyway, got it delivered. The guy who picked it had literally, like, instead of giving me the small quantity that I wanted in grams, he'd given me it in like kilograms or something. So I had like a ton of ginger, so I used up as much of it as I can in cooking and stuff like that. But it got to the point where, you know, I was looking at this ginger and I think that's going to go off. I'm not going to be able to use all this, so I froze it. I double checked that you could freeze it, and I froze it. And here we are, using it up as to not waste it. So, like I say, we're going to be doing it a bit differently this time. I'm not grating it like I did last time. Last time I grated it into small bits. I'm just going to slice this and I'm going to put it in as it is, like this, in the bits, sliced up. So, got some stuff sterilising over there. So while I quickly finish doing this, I'm just going to speed this bit up. And then by the time I've done this, that should be ready for us to get rocking and rolling. And we'll explain what we're going to do. Okay, so we've got a litre of water. We're going to add the ginger and the orange and lemon, but we're going to squeeze the orange and lemon just to get that juice out. And then we're going to put the pith, or the skin, in, because we're going to boil this. Once we've got it to boiling temperature, we're just going to turn it off, let it sit for 20 minutes, and let all the flavors and juices and whatever else just marry together, and then we can get started. In fact, I'm only going to use half of each one of them for now, as you can always add, but you can't take away, and I've got no more ginger to balance this back out with. So yeah, so now I'm going to bring this to a boil, which I'm not going to show you because you know what it looks like. I'll show you while it's boiling, but I'm not going to sit there chat crap for 20 minutes while I wait for it to boil. We'll bring it up to the boil. Like I say, we'll wait for 20 minutes. We'll let it just steep for a short period of time. Then we're going to strain all this off anyway, so it doesn't matter that the skin's still on. We might get a couple of little bits floating about in it, but I'm not bothered. It'll be fine. So let's get this sucker heated up. Right, so that's come up to the boil now. So we're going to knock the heat down to a steady simmer, so it's hardly even bubbling over, and we're going to leave it like that for 20 minutes. And also in that time we have prepared a cup of tea for the tannins. Normally I'd leave that for about 10 minutes, but we'll let it sit for the 20, why not? Righty dokie. So at this point you've got a pan that's hot. Now mine doesn't have a handle per se, it has these side handles, so I'm using an oven glove. Just, if you do heat things up, just really just take your time to be careful, because if you burn yourself, that's pretty much brew day over if you've got to go to hospital or whatever. So Now we're going to strain this in. Now I wasn't going to use this muslin sock, but my sieve is actually dirty from last time I made a bit brew, so I'm actually just going to put it through this muslin sock, which is attached to this sieve, which works just as well. And that's all of that in there. Move that out of the way because it's hot and I don't want it near me because I will hurt myself. And then we're going to push this down, try and get the last bits out. Now I've been deliberating as to how I'm going to do this. I wasn't going to put anything in there at the point of fermentation, but I am going to put in one piece of the lemon, whatever it's called, skin, one piece of the orange skin, and a couple of pieces of ginger. Not putting too many in because I don't want it to do that thing where it floats up to the top, blows off the flipping lid, and then you need a blow off tube, which I had to use with the fig and cinnamon. Now let's wrap that around, get that little bit of that in there. Now we'll taste this eventually and see whether we do want any more of anything in there. Now I don't have any more ginger, so there is definitely no more ginger going in it, but we do want all of that yummy liquid in there and not still in the ginger, as the ginger would have soaked it all up. But I mean, it's got the right colour, so I'm pretty sure there's plenty of ginger flavour in there. And just set that aside for a second because we will be taking a couple of those pieces out, as I've said. So that's essentially your start water. Now add your tea. Cup of tea. That's steeped for 20 minutes, the same as the or stewed, whatever you want to call it. 20 minutes, same as the concoction boiled. Now I'm going all in. I'm using 3 of these to try and avoid the back sweetening. It is the new plan that is what I'm going to do, and we're just going to add this honey and then we'll top it up with some water. So I'm going to speed the honey up because it just takes forever. Okay, so that's the honey in. What I tend to do is I take some of the hot water back out just to rinse them through, as the hot water helps it dissolve. We're just going to mix that honey into the water now as best we can with the water that we've got. We're at 3 litres at the moment. Most of that, to be honest, is honey. But we will be topping this up to the 4.5 litre mark. Add a bit of cold water now. There we go. 4.5 litres. Get us a bit of oxygen in there. And we're going to add some yeast nutrients. In fact, let's take a hydrometer test first. See what we've got. Probably need to mix it in a bit more, to be honest. If I am honest. Make sure there's no droopy honey anywhere. Make sure we're just getting the drippy. We don't want anything that still looks like honey. or it'll just sit at the bottom. It will ferment, but it'll just sit at the bottom and it'll just take longer. Right, let's take a hydrometer reading. Using 3 of those tubs gives me quite a high start gravity, so I'm using my other hydrometer, which can read up to 1.160, which you kind of need when you go over about 2.5 of those pots. Okay, about 46. 1.146. And there we are. So current temperature is 28, which means I can pitch the yeast. We need 1 level teaspoon of yeast nutrients, just to give it a helping hand when we do pitch the yeast. Mix that in. Like so. Then we get our fermenter, whichever type of fermenter you decide to use. I use demijohns most of the time. Sometimes I've been known to use smaller buckets for the fruit meads because they're just extra crazy reactive. So as I said, I'm going to put in 1 piece of the orange and 1 piece of the lemon. Wanted to actually have a little taste of this first, as I say, because I could add more, either orange or lemon or both, but I've got no more ginger, so it is what it is, but it may be nicer with something else. Probably should have checked it before I put the honey in, to be honest. Yes, definitely check it before you put the honey in. All I can taste is honey now. So we're kind of screwed in that department. But like I say, I'm going to put in some of this ginger during the ferment as well. About a handful. Yeah. And in it goes. We want enough to be able to help it out and get some more flavour going on in there, but not too much as to create a raft and push its way up to the top. Probably do a bit more, to be fair, because we want it as gingery as possible, don't we? Really. No, that can stay there, don't need that. And that. There we go. So those bits and bobs in there. We're not using raisins for tannins because we've used tea, which is a bit new for me. I have done it in the past, used tea. Just quickly rinse my hands. But I always I learnt by using raisins, to be fair. That's where I started at, so that's why I use the raisins. Now, do I just bang the juice of these other things in? No, I do not, because I don't know what I've got, because it's too sweet, because I forgot to check it. So now this is going into the fermenter, so I'm going to speed this bit up. Righty dokie, skipper. Now on to pitching the yeast. Should I put some bicarbonated soda in? Potassium bicarbonate, sorry. For the pH. No, because I didn't use a lot of the citrus, to be fair. If it was a full-on citrus thing, then yeah, I would. But it's not, so no. Right then, so now we're pitching the yeast. We're going to use half a packet of Mangrove Jack's M05 mead yeast. Half a packet, why? Because you don't need a full packet, that's why. Simple. One of these packets can do 23 litres of mead, which is a hell of a lot of mead. Now that packet doesn't seem to have as much in as some other ones have. Oh well. Bag it, tag it, back in the fridge. Let it go back to sleep. And then mix in your yeast, making sure all of it's wet. Decorating the walls with it again. Right, I say that that is sufficiently mixed in. An extra bit of ginger for good luck. And on goes the airlock. We'll label this up with what it was, or is, sorry. What the start gravity was. And what date we started it. So it was 1.146, I believe. And today's date is 15th of the 5th, 23. There we go. Another mead on the go. Time to get washed up, cleared out, and all that jazz, and ready for the next video, which is going to be coming. Well, it's going to be recorded today. I've got two things to check on. One that's gone way further than I wanted it to, and one that's just been sat just doing its own thing on some cherries. So thanks for watching as usual, and welcome to all new subscribers, by the way. Really appreciate you being here. And yeah, see you soon. Take it easy.